Hi folks, I'm Darren Teagoed with Ice Fishing Today. I'm going to show you some of the lures that I like to use for crappie fishing. The first group is, this is a JB lure varmint. They also have a pro varmint with a chain on the bottom. This is a Swedish pimple size too. Any of these little type of jigging lures such as forage minnows, buckshots, all the different category classes, they are all used with maggots or waxies or minnow heads, but they have to be small, 1/16 ounce. That's the size you're looking for with number 10 treble hooks on them. So these are the types of lures that you're going to want to look for when the crappies are biting and they're biting good and you want to get down to them in deep water fast. This is the most prominent lure to use, basically tipped with their favorite goods on the end, such as, like I said, the waxies and the maggots and the minnows. This second group of hooks are all single hooks. You're going to use these with maggots and or minnows. Basically your size 6 in these groupings of hooks you're going to use with a minnow, and a size 8 you're going to use with your waxies and maggots. So as you can see through here, this is a lunar grub from JB Lures. Here's a glitter glow, same company. This is a custom demon, a teardrop, a Gemini, and a hackleant. All these are just single hook lures that you're going to use on the conventional slip bobber rig. The third group of lures is all horizontal presentation. You'll notice that there's horizontal presentation plastic tails, there's a horizontal presentation without the tail with a plastic body, there's a horizontal presentation heavy weighted and light weighted. Basically, all these particular lures are going to be used in a horizontal fashion with maggots or waxies. And you can see the variance in sizes. A light bite, the fish might need to open his trapdoor mouth. That crappie will suck it right in when it's real finicky. Then, yet again, this plastic falls real slow, has a little teaser tail on the end. So the variety of different lures that are available in the horizontal range everything from just a plain hook all the way down to plastics with tails on them. The fourth group of lures are both vertical. Two classifications. This particular one is a moonglow with a plastic tail on the end. That you're going to use basically with a waxworm and a magnet, or a maggot. This particular lure, which is a brother of the fairy jig, and there's also a moxie jig. This particular lure, you're going to tie it dead center between those blades, and every time when you have your waxworm or your maggot on there, you jig it, it'll actually have a flutter, flicker effect to that crappie, and they can't resist it. It's probably one of the things in an arsenal that you have to pull out at the last minute, but it always works. Those are the 4 categories of lures used for crappie fishing. Now you ask, what color do I pick? Well, half that decision should be based on glow. We all know our favorite lakes for that lake is red, that lake is a green lake, that lake is a chartreuse lake. But the biggest thing I tell you is to make sure that you pick colors that glow. Seems to make a big difference in that deep water, and the fish have a tendency to find them. Now that we showed you all the different kinds of rods, reels, and tackle to use, a couple important things. One, how you tie your lure on can make a big difference. One of the things that I noticed that a lot of people fail to do is tie the correct knot, or maybe even tie it too tight. And some of these things need to be avoided because of the simple fact your lure has action, and the action is what creates the fish to bite. My recommendation is to put that lure in the water before you even lower it and jig it a few times and look at it. As you can see here, this lure, when it's jigged, it has a great fluttering motion. Reason being, it has a hoop knot. People ask, what's a hoop knot? Well, I'm going to come back to that and show you in just a minute. Another thing that they do a lot of times, this lure looks nice because it's tied on horizontally. A lot of times, the fault of the fisherman is when you catch your fish and you pull him up the hole, your lure hangs vertical instead of horizontal. You put it back down and you wonder why the fish won't bite it. It's because your presentation is wrong. So every time after catching your fish, straighten it out so your lure sits horizontal for the next presentation for that fish. Today, folks, I want to show you how to tie a hoop knot. It's probably going to be a little bit difficult to see with fishing line and a small lure, so for dramatization purposes, I'm just going to grab a set of keys and a rope. It'll be pretty simple and pretty easy to see. Basically, the keys are your lure. Fold it over, go around your fingers, creating a full circle. Drop your lure down through the circle or the hoop 2 times. And you've just created a figure 8 that when you pull it tight, it won't bind on itself, it interlocks, and you leave a little hoop for your lure to flutter and flicker for those crappies. This is the hoop knot. For ice fishing today, I'm Darren T. Good.